At my son's engagement party, they mistook me for the help, until my name was called as The tall oak doors of the Harvard Club stood like silent guardians. I stepped inside, smoothing the collar of my plain navy suit, ready to celebrate my son's engagement. Before I could cross the foyer, a harried floor manager pushed a crisp white apron into my hands. "Late again," he snapped, eyes on his watch. "Kitchen's left, trays start in 5. My fingers brushed the edge of my federal judge credentials in my purse. I opened my mouth to correct him. I was the groom's mother, not staff, but a loud voice cut through the lobby. Sterling Thorne. "It's about standards, Madison," he boomed, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "If Ethan's mother shows up looking like she just finished scrubbing floors, keep her away from the partners. We can't have the cleaning lady chatting with Supreme Court justices." I stopped breathing for a second. I didn't flash my badge. I didn't speak. I looked at the apron, then at the man who measured dignity by net worth. A small, cold smile curved my lips. "Right away, sir," I whispered to the manager and tied the strings tight. "Drop a comment, tell me where you're reading from and what time it is." I read everyone. In my courtroom, silence is a weapon. Let someone talk long enough, feeling safe, and they hang themselves. I decided to use the same rule here. No tears, no humiliation, only the sharp clarity of a hunter in tall grass. This wasn't a party anymore, it was surveillance. I walked into the ballroom not as Judge Lydia Vance, newest appointee to the Second Circuit, but as a shadow in white. The change was instant. I had studied it for years, the gray rock method. Make yourself boring, flat, invisible. The New York elite didn't see a woman, they saw furniture that poured champagne. Furniture doesn't listen. Furniture doesn't judge, so they talked. I glided through the crowd, tray steady. The air smelled of Chanel and old money. Across the room, I locked eyes with my son Ethan, tall, handsome in his tux, but tense. His eyes widened. "Mom," he started, stepping forward. I gave him the look, tiny head shake, narrowed eyes, the same one I use when a defendant is about to explode in my courtroom. "Stand down. Let it play." Ethan hesitated, then stepped back behind a pillar. Good. He was beginning to understand his mother wasn't just mom. She was strategy. I drifted toward the Thorne family. Sterling held court near the string quartet, scotch in hand, gesturing grandly. He looked like a man who owned the jungle. He didn't know the jungle was watching. Madison, my son's fiancée, stood beside him in a gown that cost more than my first house. Silk, crystals, armor. She snapped her fingers at a busboy for an empty glass. No thank you, no glance. "They're lucky we're even considering this match," Sterling laughed. "Ethan's bright, sure, but he's marrying up, way up. We're doing charity here." Heat flared in my chest. I filed it under evidence. This was discovery. The other side didn't know court was in session. I moved closer, refilling Sterling's glass. "More scotch, sir?" I asked, voice stripped flat, no education, no authority. He didn't look at my face, just waved me off. "Keep it coming, don't spill on the loafers." "Of course, sir." I walked away, adrenaline hardening into purpose. They thought I was serving drinks. I was handing them rope. The service corridor doors closed behind me. Silence hit hard, smell of bleach, coffee, steam. I leaned against the cold tile and breathed. My hands were soft now, manicured. But I could still feel the old ache in my knuckles from 30 years ago. Gray uniform, night shift, Bronx courthouse. Mopping floors I would one day preside over. I studied law with textbooks propped on wet floor signs, stealing minutes between trash runs. Sterling saw a server and thought failure. I saw hunger that builds empires. That's why I didn't rip the apron off. Wearing it didn't shrink me. It reminded me where I came from. Ethan didn't know the full math. After his father left, I drained my small retirement to keep our house in the good district. His London semester cost me 3 years of vacations I never missed. I invested silently, time, money, everything into his character. The Thornes were late investors trying to buy control of something they never built. Sterling's $50,000 venue check didn't buy him the right to treat my son like a favor and me like help. He miscalculated. I wasn't just protecting my child. I was protecting my investment. And I was starting to think this merger was toxic. A young busboy slipped past. "Sorry," he mumbled. "Chin up," I said in my clerk training voice. "You're why this event works. Never apologize for working." He looked up, surprised, then nodded. Nostalgia over, time to go back in. I pushed through the doors. The party noise rushed over me again. I wasn't serving anymore. I was collecting. The room was looser now, alcohol peeling away polish. I orbited the thorns near the windows, photos in progress. Madison glowed in the center, brittle and bright. Her bridesmaids looked like matching accessories. A young server, Sophia, approached with crab cakes, hands trembling slightly. "Hors d'oeuvre, Miss Thorne?" she asked softly. Madison spun. "God, no," she snapped. "I said no shellfish near the bridal party. Are you trying to kill me or are you just stupid?" Sophia paled. "I'm so sorry. Clearly you don't know anything. Go. Before you ruin the dress." Sophia turned, eyes filling. In her hurry, she bumped a table. One champagne flute tipped, 3 drops hit the floor, nowhere near the gown. Sterling roared. "Unbelievable. This is why we pay for VIP, to avoid the riffraff. Good help isn't hard to find, it's extinct." Ethan looked sick. He started forward. Madison pressed a hand to his chest, silencing him. That was my cue. I stepped in, knelt beside Sophia. "Just water and grapes, honey," I whispered, pulling a cloth. "Wipes right up." She stared, terrified. "I'll get fired." "You won't," I said, steel under velvet. "I promise." While wiping, I looked up. From my knees, Madison loomed, sneering. She thought height meant power. She didn't understand noblesse oblige. Real strength lifts, weakness steps on others to feel tall. Her $8,000 dress looked cheap. Sterling's shoes looked empty. I stood, cloth in hand. Madison met my eyes. For 1 second she faltered. Maybe she saw something that didn't belong on a server. "All clean, miss," I said, no warmth. "About time," she huffed, turning away. I walked off. Judgment entered. Verdict, guilty. Now came sentencing. I swapped trays for a bottle of Dom Perignon and approached the corner table, the inner circle. Partners in black tuxes, backs to the room, talking business. Sterling's voice dropped low. "Meridian antitrust merger closes soon, gentlemen, 40 billion. Biggest payout in a decade." I poured for the man beside him, a senior partner I recognized from firm bios. He looked uneasy. "Don't know, Sterling, Justice Department is close. Case just landed with Judge Vance, Second Circuit. She's meticulous." My hand stayed rock steady. Sterling laughed. "Vance, diversity pick, bleeding heart, family court background. Feelings over finance." I stepped back into shadow. Exhibit A, underestimation. "But the environmental reports," the partner pressed. "If Vance sees the water table toxicity data, she blocks it." "Clean Water Act violation." Sterling sipped slowly. "She won't see it. We bury the toxicity reports in box 4000 between cafeteria receipts and parking logs. 2 million pages, overloaded docket. She won't dig that deep, doesn't have the brain for it." Cold thrill ran through me, the feeling right before a foreman reads guilty. He just confessed spoliation, conspiracy to defraud the court. In front of the judge, he planned to fool. "We steamroll her," Sterling said, raising his glass. "Big words, buried bodies, 40 billion to Meridian," they toasted. I adjusted the towel on my arm. I wasn't pouring anymore, I was drafting warrants. "More champagne, gentlemen." "Keep it coming, sweetheart," Sterling said, turning his back. He thought he was burying evidence. He was burying himself. Sterling kept talking, drunk on power. He slung an arm around the partner. "Not just the firm winning. Madison just got the Solicitor General's summer internship. DC. The one that takes 3 people a year." I froze. I sat on that oversight committee. Blind selection. Merit only. Madison, who just humiliated a server, didn't have the temperament or scores. "Let's say the committee remembered my new reading room donation," Sterling chuckled. "Some adjustments. There was this girl, state school, perfect LSAT, real striver, no pedigree. We couldn't waste the slot. Her application disappeared." My blood turned to ice, not favoritism, theft. I glanced toward the service door. Sophia sat on a crate, LSAT prep book open, pages marked, notes everywhere. The puzzle locked. Sophia was the stolen future. This wasn't rudeness anymore. It was robbery of a life. I set the bottle down hard. Discovery closed. Motive, method, confession. I pulled my phone. Contact, Senator Reynolds, tonight's keynote, my law school friend since day one. 2 lines, code blue. Kitchen, need witness. Sent. I wasn't just a mother now, I was the bench. The kitchen doors flew open. Senator William Reynolds stood there, 2 agents behind him. Sterling lit up, hand out. Senator, pleasure. Reynolds walked straight past. To me, Lydia, he called. Judge Vance, why are you in an apron? Silence crashed like glass. Sterling's hand hung frozen. He looked from senator to me to senator. Face went gray. Judge, Madison whispered, glass tilted. I untied the apron slowly, folded it, set it aside, smoothed my suit. Correct, Miss Thorne, I said, voice carrying without effort. I am the Honorable Lydia Vance, presiding judge on the Second Circuit, the court reviewing your father's $40 billion merger. Sterling choked. Judge Vance, we had no idea. Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. I stepped closer. He shrank. Was it a misunderstanding when you confessed to burying Clean Water Act evidence in Box 4000? When you detailed conspiring to defraud the court, in a crowded room, in front of a federal judge and a United States senator? No color left in his lips. That was private. No privilege in the catering line, Mr. Thorne. You admitted spoliation before witnesses who can't be ignored. I nodded at Reynolds. He crossed his arms. I can explain, Sterling wheezed. You will at your disbarment hearing. I turned to Madison. She looked 12 in that dress now. And the Solicitor General internship, I continued. I sit on oversight. We value integrity. I'll review your file personally tomorrow. Very curious how one application vanished to make room for yours. Mother, Madison grabbed her mother's arm. Her mother stared at the floor. Ethan, I said. He stepped out. No fear, relief. Ready to go, Mom? One last thing. I faced Sterling, who trembled. You were right about one thing. Be careful who you talk to. You never know when the help holds the gavel. I turned, walked out, doors closed, silence held. I didn't stay for cake. In the cab, heels off, I drafted notes on my phone. The fallout came fast, not scandal, collapse. 3 months later, headlines still ran. Meridian blocked. Thorne firm under federal probe. Sterling's license gone, transcript, senator's corroboration, bar moved quickly. But real justice wasn't destruction, it was balance. In my chambers, son on the desk, Ethan sat across from me looking years younger. He ended it that night, no drama, ring returned. She called yesterday, he said, stirring coffee. Works retail now. Community service, says her feet hurt. I smiled, signing a form. Pain teaches. Maybe she'll learn respect isn't inherited. The internship, I opened a drawer, handed him the file. Easiest ruling I ever made. Last week I found Sophia in the law library, same LSAT book. When I gave her the acceptance letter, the one Madison stole, she cried quietly, the way people do when they've been invisible too long. She starts Monday, I told Ethan. She didn't need charity. She needed fair process. I stood at the window. City towers gleamed power money. Below, the real city moved, cleaners, servers, drivers, the unseen engine. I kept the apron folded beside my robes at home. Different uniforms. Same purpose, truth. Sterling thought power was giving orders. He forgot real power protects. I looked at my son. Gavel rested silent on the desk. Justice is blind, I said quietly, but she hears everything. If you believe character shows when no one important is watching, share this. And tell me, what would you have done in my place? Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.